Yes, sir. And climbing.
And climbing. Like 750, something like that. What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is Super Dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comic. We do live auctions, live claim sales. I rock with Tooth and Claw, hit animated television series. Scotty Young joint, blowing up fast. X23. So this is dope, man. All right, so this is beautiful. Yo. Reno Noir here, and it's the 6th element of hip hop. This is my co-host, Stu Dog.
Steel Town in the house.
Word up.
What's good?
What's happening, man? So yeah, man, we got a couple of things to chop it up about today, but first thing we got to talk about is this movie, man. The Eternals finally got a new Marvel movie, MCU joint. It's been a minute. Shang-Chi, I guess, was the last one, but this is, I don't know, I feel like Shang-Chi was more of like an auxiliary show. This is a main show. Like this is
mainstream,
yeah.
The meat and potatoes.
Right. Now, personally, I don't know. How did you feel? You saw it in the theater or you saw it on the bootleg?
Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. I go to the theater, baby. That's how I get down, man. No disrespect to bootlegs, but you know what? Yeah.
Hey, sometimes we gotta
if you got a bad bootleg, it's not worthy of my eyesight or my hearing. So I do not indulge in subpar movies. Yeah, I don't mind going to the theater, man. Some people say it's expensive. Go during the matinee. You know what I mean? Fine. They got specials, and so I went during the matinee. I saw it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it as well. She thought it was great. I'm gonna say, as far as me, it was good.
No.
Have I seen better? Yeah. Not many, but better. I haven't, but it was good. No complaints about it. The only thing I can say is because it's like it's an origins movie. It's kind of dialogue heavy, but the pace is pretty good. But all in all, do I think it was a waste of my money? No. Will it make it into my DVD collection? Probably so.
See, I was over here. All right. So I was at Target the other day and I was looking at the figures.
Right.
They've got, when you go in, I mean, it did terrible on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie is rotten certified. No one liked it. The critics hated it. And apparently the fans aren't too excited by the characters at all, because normally when Marvel Legends figures come out, you can see I got probably 100 figures back there. I'm a big collector, Marvel Legends and stuff. Yeah. And shout out Diamond Onyx in the chat. What's good? Always here, always loyal. Salute, Queen. But yeah, I'm out here and I'm looking at, because Marvel Legends, when the new characters drop, you can't get them. Like, especially at like Target, Walmart, the racks be empty.
This is true. This is true.
I'm here.
Yes. No, this is true.
All the Eternals, the racks are full to the brim. They couldn't even fit it. They're all over the thing. There's so many figures. Like, every character was there. Several, copies of each. I've never seen in all my days collecting, I've never seen a Marvel Legends shelf look like that. I mean, they're always sparse and bare. This thing was packed to the brim. I'd never seen it. And then I'm like, well, what's wrong with the figures? And I looked at them, and basically all the figures look pretty much they're similar. They've all
The
got the
same.
same
Yes.
similar suit, but this
Yes.
guy's is
Yes.
pink
Yep.
and hers is green and his is blue, but
I was
otherwise
getting ready
they're
to
the
say that.
same.
Yep.
And then their
Yes. Even in
faces
the movie.
in the
Yeah.
movie
Even in
too.
the movie, they all look they look similar.
Right.
There's no distinct difference unless they use their powers. There's no distinct difference.
Right.
With like with Captain America, you got his suit. Hulk looks a certain way. Thor is a certain way. Iron Man looks different. Black Widow.
Yeah.
You got variety, bro, and
They'll
these
have
characters have been
masks.
around for. You're right, and these
Yeah.
characters have been around for years. The Eternals is something that Marvel keeps pushing on the public, and they're not interested in it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Inhumans. Inhumans is something that Marvel keeps pushing on the public. Like their
Yeah.
superhero movies always leads up to Eternals and Humans, even in their cartoons. But
Yeah.
no one is interested in either one of those two franchises. It's
Right.
been proven.
Right.
Marvel needs to stick with what works, man. I mean, go with, spin off into Blade. You want to spin off into Blade.
Please.
Um,
Or the
yeah,
mutants.
spin off.
Give us
Or the
please.
mutants, right? Give us new mutants.
You know what I
Give us
think though,
another X-Men team.
like you said about sticking to what's good, I think that's what they're doing with Eternals because Guardians of the Galaxy, remember, once Guardians came out, what they do? They got the cookie cutter out and they stamped it and they just bang, 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 bang. Every movie's a comedy since Guardians. They want it to be funny. They want it to be like Guardians. Now,
Mhm.
they went to the drawing board and they're like, what other teams are obscure? Which ones are unknown like Guardians were? That's what they tried to do. So Eternals, that's one nobody talks about, no one cares about, no one knows about. Guardians of the Galaxy was unknown virtually. I mean, unless you were deep into
A
comics, you didn't,
hardcore comic book fan.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like they were not
Yeah.
known. And that was, I think, Hollywood, that's how they do. They think when they do something, they got to just repeat it because they don't really know what about it was successful. So they repeat it all. And
Right.
yeah, so I think that's why we got, and then it become this super like woke, diverse thing where every character is a different, either you're binary or trans or homosexual or you know, Asian or white or black or Indian or something, some different. One guy's fat, like there's a fat Eternal. Like what? These are supposed to be like the perfect specimens of beings, and there's like a fat one. Like
they're kind of like, the best way I can explain it, they're like robots, but they're not human, and they in the movie, spoiler alert,
they're biological.
um, they are, but
They're like
they're
perfect
like living,
specimen type. That's what
right?
they were supposed
They're like living robots, like they're like the way they explain it, they're kind of like living robots, like you said, but the perfect specimen, but they're made
yeah,
in
well,
like
because like
then
the
they're made from
original,
cosmic energy,
they were all
right? They're
blonde
made
hair,
from
blue eyes, you know what I mean?
right,
Very Aryan, you know. That's what they were
right.
going. That's what they considered the perfect, which is bullshit. But I think, and then they went the opposite way with it. And then they're like, well, let's just do this super diverse lineup. And then it becomes, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a scene in the beginning where, and this is because I saw it on bootleg because I was not going to go drive an hour and a half to the theater, pay all that money to see this movie. I just was not excited about it, man. And so I said, I'm gonna watch it on the computer. And I was glad I didn't spend the money and waste the trip to the theater. Like it wasn't all of that, but maybe it was a bad image. And again, I can't really judge it yet. So I'm not saying it's a bad movie, guys. I'm not saying it sucks or anything like that. It's just, I saw it on bootleg, so I don't know. Maybe I missed some things. I was very excited to see like the Celestials and the you know what I mean, the mythology and the lore because I'm big on lore. I love mythology, lore, legends and all of that. That's one of the best things about Marvel. And I love the cosmic stuff. I love the cosmic Marvel. I love the Celestials and the
Yeah, I do too. Yes,
yeah, I
yes, I
love
agree.
that. I
Yeah,
love it. So this is
and it makes sense. Yeah, it all
yeah,
makes sense. Like when
and
they
it should
break
have
it
been.
down.
This should have been a movie that I loved. I mean, I really wanted to love it. Like I was really excited for this movie, but seeing what I saw and then, then watching the bootleg, was there a scene in the beginning where there's a bus gets dumped over and it's about to
Yes, it's
land on
about to
somebody?
fall.
Okay, and
Mhm.
does the guy, he turns it into like roses, like rose
It
petals?
was a woman. is a female. She can whatever she touches, she can turn it into different materials. She can turn it into stone, water, ice, rock. She can turn it into roses, things like that, rose petals, things, organic material. She can only turn it into like different organic materials. Yeah,
My
she
question
does that.
was, did she just
I
turn a
know what you're
busload
gonna
of
ask. I know
people?
what you're gonna ask, but go ahead.
Did she just turn a busload of people into flowers? Like, what about the people that was on the bus? Are they not dead now?
That's the
Like,
same thing, bro. That's the same thing my wife asked. She said, "What about the people on the bus?" I said, "I don't know," because they didn't even acknowledge that. They just showed the one dude that she saved,
right? They
and
didn't even talk about it.
but that's how her powers work. If she touches it, everything, the bus and
Mhm.
everything on it turns into flowers or
Right,
rock or water or whatever she turns it into.
right. And they made the deviants. They strayed a bit because the deviants were like Thanos was like from a deviant, I think. But like the deviants, they were humanoid. I mean, they were monstrous in a way, but they weren't dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Like
They
in this
explain
movie,
in the movie that the Celestials created them to do what the Eternals should have did, and they went rogue on them,
yeah,
and so they created the Eternals to combat them and complete. Because basically, the Eternals' job is to make sure a planet thrives so that another Celestial could be born, and then
right.
that planet dies because the Celestial is born. Like Earth is like an egg, and the Celestial is gestating inside the
Uh,
egg until he
uh,
becomes fully mature, and then he emerges. The planet dies. That galaxy is destroyed because he absorbs all the energy. But in that destruction, he brings life, and then another universe is born. I mean, another galaxies are born, and then the cycle starts all over again.
yeah,
And
I love that.
the, right, and it makes sense.
Mythology.
Like, bro, it makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Um, the only thing is that the Eternals in this movie, they actually fell in love with Earth, and they didn't want to see it destroyed.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So, but I mean, like I said, Reno, it was. I can't say it was a bad movie. It was good. I've seen better, not many, but better. But I can't say anything bad about it other
What
than
do you mean not many? You've not seen many movies better than the Eternals?
no. I've seen many. I've seen better ones, not many, but I've seen better ones than the Eternal. If Marvel wise, because if I had to
Uh,
rank movie like the Marvel movies, my favorite Marvel movie would have to be probably. I would say Winter Soldier. Would probably be my favorite one.
right.
All of
And
them.
my favorite is Guardians.
Yeah, I like Guardians too,
I was
but
surprised.
Winter
Yeah.
Soldier is probably the one I could watch the most.
And that's the
I
one
thought it
I've
was fun.
watched the least. Like, I've probably seen it once, and I really keep meaning to watch it again. It was dope, but I didn't, like, for whatever reason at the time, like, it wasn't, I didn't really get it. So for me, it's still gonna be a new movie. Like, out of all the Marvel movies, that's the one that I haven't really watched a bunch of times. Like, I've seen them all a bunch of times. Haven't seen
Get
that
out.
one more than once or twice. So I'm definitely gonna watch it again, because everybody says it's great, and
It is great. Yeah, it
I
is.
loved it. I think I loved it when I saw it, but
Nah, it was
yeah,
good, bro. It was good.
yeah.
Nah, Eternals was good, man. I would give it if I had to give it. I would give it if I had to get like out of 10 stars. I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's like a halfway
Well,
to me.
what do
Four.
you think? What do you think? Why do you think it got Rotten Tomatoes? Like, why do you think no one likes it?
You know what it is? It's not as like I said. It's an origin movie. Number one. Um, and number two, the characters. When they start off, they only show you two characters, and then they have to go find the other characters because they all split up. So now they split up, and then when you find them, they're just different. Like they're earthenized, they're
Mm,
humanized. So they talk different, they look different, um, and they're boring. The characters are not.
right.
And I'm not saying boring in a bad way, but not entertaining for the screen. Like they should have made them more entertaining. It should have been a little less dialogue and a lot more of them, going at it with, the what is it that they had to fight? The not the Celestials, the
Eternals. I'm at the
yeah,
Deviant. The
yeah,
Deviants.
the Deviants, right? And then when they do, like, what it is when they do show you the deviants and their, and what they're there for and why they're there. It's like it's too much side story with the characters, too much conflict between the characters. Whereas in Guardians, I think they're trying to go like Guardians is when the characters interact, it's funny and it's like it's realistic.
Yeah.
When they try to make these characters interact, they're going for that realistic thing, but it's too much pouting going on. It's too much oh this or why this or I didn't like this or I didn't like you. It's like a bunch of grown babies arguing
Right.
over one thing. And I think that's why the formula just don't work. Had they just
They sound like a bunch of woke hipsters. You know what I mean?
pretty
Like,
much. Right.
arguing.
Like the one like the one guy that can create everything, he basically just left. Like he left and he didn't want to be bothered with him. And then you had Icarus, who was supposedly the strongest one out of all of them.
He's like the Superman with the laser eyes.
Yeah, with the laser eyes, right. Icarus basically it was just I don't know that like their character, the characters just have no substance. Like and I could get that. But for the big screen, you need that. Like you need for the characters to have like they need to have some substance, some attitude. Yeah. And Angelina Jolie's character just was almost pretty much non-existent through the movie. Like it didn't even make sense to even have her.
Yeah, didn't see her a lot. Yeah.
No, you didn't. They mostly focused on the young girl that looks like a boy. They focused on her, but she's a girl. Mm-hmm. They focused on the gay couple with the son. They focused on the love interest of Icarus and the girl, and it just didn't play out well because it's just too much. Guardians is like, Guardians is just a limited team where you have them interacting with each other, but Star-Lord, I like the way they do it. Star-Lord is actually the star of the show, mm-hmm. and the other characters are his supporters. Mm-hmm. So you following Star-Lord, and the other guys supporting, his actions or whatever.
Right.
But the way he interacts with them, it brings them all into the movie. Mm-hmm. And in Eternals, there is no one person they focus on. They're kind of like they go from here, they go back, they go from here, and they go back.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not bad. It's just after seeing all the other Marvel movies, it's just went in a different direction. Like
I think they're learning. I think they're gonna have to learn because, I mean, I get that they're trying to get away from the white male patriarch. The white male is always the star. Like I get that, and then in films and movies and stuff, we need to move away. Like because that is an old trope that's dominated Hollywood for decades,
hundreds of years.
Decades,
yeah, right.
100 years or whatever. How long Hollywood's been around, since the 20s or 30s or whatever. But but you can do it organically. You can do it well. It doesn't have to be forced and obvious. And I think that's what they did here. And I think they're going to learn that audiences don't want that. We want diversity.
Right.
We want real diversity, not forced, obvious diversity. Like here's a team of this guy's a transgender and this guy's, homosexual and this guy's, this race and that race and this gender. It's like, all right, cool. Like, but don't shove it down our throats. Like it's like, make it that's the star of the show. Just if it's not the star of the show, then it's real. Have a real show where the characters are, black or female or homosexual, whatever. Let the characters be that, but not make that what the show's about. You know what I mean? I think that's where they went wrong here. They
too much diversity.
Like a big woke fest, like too much hipster woke fest. Like you said, they focused on the transgender girl, the binary girl, the non-binary character, the homosexual couple. You know what I mean? Like that was the focus. And it's like, that's not from the comics. Like that's not content from the comics. And it's like you've always said, the content is there. The comics are there. The content is phenomenal. Stick to it. Use it. You know what I mean? Like we have that great content is already available. Use it. You don't have to change the entire storyline to have diverse races and people in the movie. Like you could do that and just do that and then still use the same storyline. But
Right.
I don't know.
If you're going to do it, I think if if you're going to do it, then make a movie about that. But don't give us a main. Like you got to understand, the needs of the many are greater than the needs of the few or the one. But if you making a movie for the few, then do that. But if you want the movie to be enjoyed by the masses, then give it to the masses the way it's supposed to be given to us. Don't push, don't push something on everybody that everybody don't need.
Right.
I personally think that they could have went in a different direction, stuck with the source material, it would have been great. But for them
Yeah.
to just add, modern day, like some things just don't need a modern day twist on them. Some
Right.
stuff we don't need because right now in the world today, it's confusion. The
Right.
world is a ball of confusion right now,
Right.
and when we go to the movies, we go to movies to escape that. We
Escapism.
want right. We want fantasy.
Yeah.
We don't want reality. We want to live in that fantasy world because that's what movies do for us, man. They take us to a place we can't go in real
Right.
life.
Right.
That's our stress reliever, our escape from the modern day world. Our I just saw Eternals and I'm good, man. Like you come out and be like, hey, Reno, I just saw Eternals, man. It was fun. It was this. It was that. Not come out of the movie and like, well, man, you know, like if I'm gay or I'm a hipster or whatever, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to deal with that while I'm sitting in the movies. Maybe I just
True.
want to go to see it,
True.
and maybe I just want to go see a movie, have fun with it, come out, and just be good to
It's
go.
like I hear a lot of black people like my wife say I don't really want to watch movies about slavery. Like I really I don't want to think about like it don't have to I don't want to watch a movie about racism anymore. Like we did that. It's like they keep doing that. It's like what are they trying to do? What are they trying to stir up? Like why are they doing that? And it's a very similar, that's kind of like what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
making it obvious, making a point of it is kind of I don't know. I always felt it was a little bit disrespectful and like almost like pandering like I felt it was kind of like I don't not the term but to like almost offensive to gay people to make that the focus of the thing or kind of like what they're doing with the DC stuff, Superman and Robin and all of that.
I get
It's
it, man.
like
They want to make them feel comfortable, and
is it that though or do they want to
yeah,
make money because they think
yeah.
that
I think
that's
it's both. I
yeah,
think it's both, but
yeah,
nobody cares. Like
to make them
I've
feel
said it before. I'll say it again.
that's why I mean it's offensive
Um,
because you're doing it for money. You're not doing it real.
no, you're not doing it real. No, not at all. I said it before and I say it again. Nobody cares. If whatever your sexuality is, nobody cares. Like we are in the day and age where nobody cares,
No one
and
gives a damn anymore.
and to me that's a good thing. That's progress
That's what you
because
want, right? That's what we
right, that's
want.
what you want,
Yeah, that's
right?
what we
Because
want
there
the
was a
world to be
time where
like.
we, right, there was a time where we cared, man. There was a time where
Right.
people made a big deal about it.
And not that
You
long
know,
ago.
no, definitely, but now nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Word.
You can have a gay club now, and gay people go in there, congregate, have fun, do whatever
Yeah.
they got to do.
I mean, that's
You can
what they
have a
fought for.
right. You can have a heterosexual club. But
Nobody cares.
nobody cares. Nobody really cares anymore. And we got to, and we as a society have to stop making a big thing about it. And that would mostly be Hollywood and their agenda
Exactly. That's
to
what I'm saying.
push, right, to push it on us to make it a norm so they can make money off of it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and Hollywood has the power to say, well, look, we'll just do an all channel. We can do a channel, just a whole gay network, whatever
Yeah,
they
why
can.
not?
All right. I mean, because then
Why
that
not?
way you can push
Yeah.
whatever agenda you want on there.
Right. Right.
And if you really down, like that's just how I feel. But as far as Eternals goes, um, I would tell everybody go see it for yourself, man. I really don't go by the reviews of the critics, because
Yeah,
that's what
no,
they
I
are.
never do.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
critics, and they like to criticize. So
And
I like
it's
to see
also
for
they're
myself.
all saying the same shit. Yeah, and I like to see for
Right.
myself too. But yeah, like you'll see one. I've read you read reviews, and it's almost like they copied each other. They're all using the same keywords. You know what I mean? They want to be. it's just like everybody. They want that pat on the back, someone to say, "Oh, you're so insightful." You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
why they're
but
doing it.
right. But to ask me, I would say it was good. Um, I wasn't
So yeah,
disappointed
that's the
at it.
question. The title of the video that we're doing right now is was Eternals whack as Stu feels the Black Album is. So do you feel that it's whack like the Black Album?
No, sir. No, sir. Black Album is just it's just up there with wackiness, man. It's just wackety whack.
Wow.
Listen to Danger Mouse's great album. You have a better time.
This is a
But
good album.
as far as the Black Album it's just if I ever get to meet Jay-Z in person, I'm gonna tell him you owe me an album because you know
Or
you
you owe me
gave me the Black
15 bucks.
Album. Yeah, you owe me one or the other, bro. I don't know which one it is, but I
Yeah.
need that. But as far as the Eternals, a lot of people just ragged on it, man. They just like I said, the pace could have been better. Yeah. I just think the character interaction. I don't think it should have been like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think it should have been more comic book based.
Yeah.
Like it should have been,
Yeah.
I think the whole thing should have been just a slight, push the meter,
They need
70% comic, 30% Hollywood.
you know what's funny? They really struggled and strived to make the team diverse, diverse characters, but the characters are so similar to each other. It's like the opposite of what you know what I mean? It's the opposite of diverse. All the characters, like we were saying, they wearing the same suit. They're all wearing like the same suit. One guy's is red, one guy's is green, one guy's is pink, one's
That's
blue.
true.
It's all the
That's
same
true.
suit. Like I said, I collect Marvel Legends figures. When new ones come out, I'm excited. Like I want to see the new ones, and I like that one. I like that. I'm gonna definitely get something out of every new line. This entire line is whack, pure garbage.
I haven't
All
seen them
7
yet.
characters and the Build-A-Figure. Even the Build-A-Figure is trash. It's just
Yeah.
another Eternal. He's just bigger. It's like,
No.
yeah, man, Gilgamesh. I don't think he's an
Oh, it's
Eternal. I don't
Gilgamesh.
know what. Yeah, like, and he looked pretty similar to the rest, man. It's like there's no creativity, man, and that's my thing. Like, just for everybody watching, we have no problem with diversity, with homosexuality in movies, none of that. What we have a problem with is bad writing,
Yes.
poor writing. That's it.
100%, man.
Couldn't care.
100%.
We just don't like poor writing, and I feel that
No, we
that
don't. We don't.
poor writing.
And I feel the Eternals should have stuck more to the source material. As far as the movie is concerned, my only gripe with the Eternals is the same gripe I have with the Inhumans. I really think that Marvel tries to ram that down our throats for some reason. I don't know why. Like they'll start off good, they'll give us some good movies or good cartoons, good comics, and the next thing you know, blam, they throw the Eternals in our face, or blam, the Inhumans, and it never takes off. It doesn't even take
Right,
off in the comics. Like
right.
people don't buy Inhumans comics. They don't buy
Nah,
Eternals comics. They're not sought after. They don't. People just don't want them. They just nobody wants nobody wants to deal with all the politics that comes with reading those comics and everything is based around. No, but it's like in the '60s, maybe in the '80s, it was good, but 2021, it's not gonna fly. Nobody's going for it. 10 years ago, nobody was gonna go for it, but Marvel keeps shoving it down our throat, bro. It's just with the toys and all of that. It's just not gonna happen.
yeah, dog. They're whack, bro. The whole all the characters were garbage, man. The figures were trash. I don't know, man. They could have done better. Like I really wanted to like it though. I really did. I really did because
Right,
I really wanted the first trailer looked crazy to me. Like I thought it was gonna be dope. Like I was all down with it. I thought it was gonna be dope. Um,
right,
yeah, and because I was excited to see the Celestials and all of that. Like again, like I say, the cosmic Marvel is my shit. So I hope we do see more of that. There's a lot of shit out there, bro. Marvel has a lot of cosmic stories and stuff that they can go to, man. Like a lot. You know what I'm
right, and
saying?
they're good. Right, and
They're
they're good.
great. Yeah, they're phenomenal. So all right, man. So switching over to some hip hop stuff. Jay-Z praises Dave Chappelle as a brave super genius amid the Netflix uproar. Dave Chappelle's widely panned Netflix comedy special, The Closer, is still making waves weeks after its release. Did you watch it yet?
A little bit. Every time, you know what? It's kind of funny, because every time I try to watch it, the stream stops.
Mm.
No lie. When I watch anything else, streams perfectly. I go on
Or
Netflix, I turn it on, it'll stream for a little bit, and then it'll just say having a problem with the stream. And that's it.
well, so you know about the back. So what it is, he did some jokes about transgender people and all of that. So the Netflix staff, like all the transgender or gay staff, I don't know if they're just them or just people, they were gonna walk out if Netflix didn't pull the special off the streaming platform and all of this. Like, that's crazy, right? Comedy is meant to be satire, but it's all about the freedom of speech, the ability to express oneself artistically. If they start censoring comedy like that, it's just gonna become trash.
That's true.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine, like, I love stand-up comedy, right? It just, if those comics felt like they couldn't say stuff, it would become garbage, man. Like, because it wouldn't even be that they wouldn't know what to say, so they would stop saying all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Funny shit. The shit is funny.
It
Like, it's a
is.
joke. It's a joke. You can't take a joke. You know what I mean? Like what he said. He said the baby can his shoot a man in Walmart and not get canceled, but I make a joke and you want to cancel me. Like, you know what I mean? And Jay-Z has spoken out in defense of Dave Chappelle. After the special sparked criticism regarding the LGBTQ community. Jay-Z praised Chappelle, called him a super genius. He's super brave. He said he's super brave and super genius. You spend time with him, and he's brilliant. And I think he pushed a lot of buttons. That's it. But like,
Yeah, he
yeah,
did. He did push a lot of buttons on that
yeah,
one. Yeah, he did. He literally did. But
and that's
in his
smart.
defense, what comedian doesn't?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? He said, I think what happens with true art, as it has to cause a conversation, is sometimes it's gonna be abrasive. Sometimes it's gonna be off-putting to folks, but I think it opens up an opportunity to have a dialogue about whatever the issue is. You know what I mean? Like, that's important. You know, if
That's true.
certain subjects will open up a dialogue and get the conversation going, that normally, and comedy's good for that. Like, comedy's good for bringing up subjects that are taboo to talk about, but the comedian can talk
Yeah,
about them. You know
that's
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
then
he's making a point. Like, you're right, because he's making a point, Reno. But we laughing at it at the same time. So
right.
it's laughable, but we serious, but we laugh. Like Richard Pryor would always talk about, um, police brutality. He always talk
Mhm.
about police brutality, and nobody ever talked about canceling him. Nobody ever said, "Oh,
And he's the
why
greatest of all
was
time.
right? Why would he?" People laughed. They laughed at it, man. And like Rich said, if we can't laugh at ourselves, who can we laugh at?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself. You gotta be able to have a sense of humor and not take stuff so personally and seriously. He said these social media algorithms and things on these sites allow you to talk to people that agree with you. And I think we have to speak to one another when we disagree. That's how we get to the bottom of it. That's what therapy is. You got to sit there and deal with yourself in a real way. These are things I've done, and these are things I got to grow from. And anything that doesn't have that tension, it's not going to be real. He said, we've all had these fake conversations for all this time until about race until Trump was in office. Then we got to see people who, for who they truly were. And then Jay-Z shut down any questions about Chappelle's Netflix show and simply stated, I don't want to answer to Dave Chappelle, so I'm not speaking specifically to his work, but I think his art is great and diversive. When you're making great art, you have to be fearless and create something that you believe
This is true.
in, you know?
One
Yeah.
hundred percent.
And
No, one hundred
Chappelle
percent.
also inducted Jay-Z into the Hall of Fame last month, which was dope. And Damon Wayans and Jon Stewart were also among the fans, the stars who supported Chappelle as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, all the comedians are gonna support Chappelle, man.
They should, man. They should. I
Damon
mean,
Wayans said he explained to TMZ last month. He said, "I feel like Dave freed the slaves." Yeah, the comedian. He said we were slaves to PC culture. That's what I'm saying. He said we were slaves to PC culture, and he just, as an artist, he's Van Gogh. He cut his ear off. He's trying to tell us it's okay. That's Damon Wayans. He said I can't speak about the content of the show, but what I say is that there's a bigger conversation we need to have. Someone needs to look us in the eye and go, "You're no longer free in this country. You're not free to say what you want. You say what you want to say. You say what we want you to say. Otherwise, we cancel you." That's the discussion we should have.
he's right, bro.
That's the problem.
He's right, bro. Because think about it. Okay, you got a group of people who want to push their agenda. They don't like something, they want to cancel. But like I said earlier, the needs of the many are greater than the needs of the few. So if it's a million people out there that don't give a damn, but it's 10,000 that do, I
Right.
mean, we gotta ignore the 10,000 and we gotta go with the million.
That's it.
Because right, and he's right. We need to cancel the cancel culture because now, like when we watching Boba Fett, I mean not Boba Fett, Mandalorian. I mean, come on, you want to cancel? You want us to cancel the show because there's a character on there that you don't like.
Gina Carano, yeah.
Gina Carano said something that you didn't like. How many years ago? How many years ago she said it? And right, I don't understand how that pertains to the show. Like, not only did Disney get her off the show, but they wrote a whole new character to take her place. It's so bad that they didn't even get a new person to play in the role of that character. They wrote a whole new character to take her place.
Right.
It's good. The new character is going to do the same thing she did, but it's just a whole new character. Not even I can't even get the same character back. That's how bad it is now. I gotta get a whole new character on my show.
Yeah,
to do the same thing the whole
and what she did wasn't even nothing. She didn't even do nothing, bro. She just posted a picture that wasn't even really shit compared to
That's true.
Compared to what the star, I think of the Mandalorian itself had posted something even worse or something like that earlier. But they have their ability to cancel people, and it's sick, man. It's sick. Cancel culture is absurd.
And
it's absurd that people jump on that bandwagon.
Right. And what makes it even worse, Reno, is that these networks, TV stations, they're doing it. Like they are literally canceling.
They're following.
Right. Yeah, they literally just we gotta cancel it. We gotta get such and such off the show.
They're scared. They get bullied. Right. These are the same people that are talking that they're against bullying, but they're the biggest bullies.
The bullies on the block. Yeah. Yes, they are. They're the biggest bullies on the block. You're right. You're right. They don't want nobody bullying them, but they bully everybody. Exactly. I mean, come on. How much sense does that make? Yeah. How do we even make sense out of that?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So yeah, what are you gonna do? Like grow up, man. That's all I gotta say. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. Kanye West, speaking of Jay-Z, the few that may be uninitiated, last night saw Kanye West making his visit to Drink Champs for a lengthy and controversial interview where he gave his thoughts on his various accomplishments, his many hip-hop peers, and much more. Two individuals that the Chicago talent touched on rather candidly is Jay-Z and Just Blaze. I was shocked.
I watched all 2 hours of that. I watched all 2 hours and 27 minutes of that. That Drink Champs interview.
And so you heard what he said. What did he say about Just Blaze? What was his diss? He dissed Just Blaze. Did you feel? Did you hear?
I can't say it.
No,
I can't say he dissed him, man.
What did he say?
I can't say how he said it, but basically, I'll put it to you like this, in a nutshell. everything Kanye said in that interview was true. Like, there's nothing you can argue that he said in that interview that wasn't true or didn't have any truth to it.
Right.
Like, he kept it real. He kept it a buck. Uh, he was just like they asked him to do a verses, and they asked him, would he ever do a verses against Jay-Z? And he said, nah. He said, that's boss, man. That's the boss.
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
They asked him who would he do a verses against, and he said he had a point. He said I could actually do a verses against more than one. I could do more than one verses. He said, do you want me to do verses as a producer? You want me
Right.
to do verses as a rapper?
Right.
And you want me to do verses as an engineer? Like he said, like I had more than one talent.
Yeah.
And he said, who you gonna get to go against me? Because Jay put out the hits. I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta give Ye credit,
That,
man. He put out the
yeah.
hits, bro.
Yeah.
As far as Just Blaze, um, it was the same thing. He was just saying you know, like, I give like he basically was like, I respect him, but you can't compare him to me. He can't be
Right.
compared to me. And he was like, you know, it's just, it's like he was like, it's just not on my mind. Like y'all thinking about that. I'm not thinking
Yeah.
about that. I don't even care.
Right.
And he they went over a lot, bro. Like he had a lot of good points, man, and he
Well, he
brought up a lot
said,
of
I mean, he dissed. I mean, he tried him. He said, well, these is for people that don't know, Just Blaze is the guy that made the Blueprint with Jay-Z. Hands down, a
yes,
classic
hands down,
album.
yeah.
Hands down, a
But
classic
Ye,
album.
right, and then Ye was talking
So
about because I didn't know that when they brought it up. Not to cut you off, but when they
no,
brought it up, here's a good example of Just Blaze what he was talking about. All right, the biggest hit on the Blueprint album was the Takeover, and people didn't know that Kanye did that beat. Kanye said, and Kanye put it out. He said, "I did that." He said, I'm the one." He said somebody sent him the loop,
mm.
and he ran with it. The dun dun dun
He
dun
did.
dun
He did a
dun.
lot of the songs. He did a lot of the songs, Kanye. I
Yeah,
mean, Just Blaze
but
gets the credit for it, but Kanye said, he said Just Blaze is a copycat, straight up. He said Just Blaze is a copycat. He get credit for the Blueprint, and I did
yep,
the first half of the Blueprint. He just
yes he
copied
did.
my half. He said,
Yes he
I
did, and
like
he
the
right.
originators, man. I don't mind like the copycats too. And by the way, you just got to say it like it is. Earlier today, Jay-Z rejoined James Samuel and Regina King, Twitter head honcho Jack Dorsey, a wealth of journalists, and more for a live chat in promotion of the Netflix film The Harder They Fall, which I'm about to watch. It was
That
it
was
was
good. It was a
during.
good movie.
Really?
It was good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I'm
good. It was
definitely
good,
going.
bro.
I'm definitely definitely.
Not to cut you off on that one. That's another movie they try to dog like Eternals. It was good, bro. Like
Mhm.
Eternals was good. Doesn't have its issues, yeah, but it was still good.
Right,
It was a good
right,
watch.
right,
Does this have its issues? Yeah, but it was still good. It was fun to watch, man. Eternals was
right.
fun to watch. I can't dog it and say, oh, I wasted my money. Oh, I want my money back. Blah blah.
Yeah,
Nah,
right.
it was good.
Nah,
It was good. It
it
was
wasn't.
entertaining. I was
Yeah,
entertained.
it wasn't
Um,
trash. It was just not
no, it
great.
wasn't trash.
It
It
just
wasn't the
wasn't a
Black
great
Album.
movie, though. It wasn't a great
Nah,
movie.
when I got
Here we
done
go.
listening to the Black
Black
Album, I was
Album
I
is
was
not trash,
upset.
folks. Listen,
I
folks,
was
the Black
upset,
Album
man.
is phenomenal.
I I,
Don't
wa-
listen to this guy. No, he's
I
insane.
was upset, man. When I got done listening to the Black, I felt robbed without a gun. You know what I mean?
This
I
guy.
felt like
What more
I
can I
felt.
say?
But
Yo,
when I heard the Great Album by Danger Mouse, that was remixed, the
that's a
remixed
great,
Black Album.
phenomenal. Yeah,
Now I felt like I got something back. I felt
the
like I
Great
won the
Album is
lottery.
great. The Great Album is good.
Yeah, I felt
But
like I won the lottery.
so Jay-Z has this conversation, and during which he, the topic of Kanye and the aforementioned interview was brought up, and Hove decided to speak on the matter at hand. He said, "Yeah, Nori sent me a piece, and I've seen a couple pieces. I think again, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and everyone sees things through their own lens. Some of it could be true, but some of it may not be true. But that's the lens you see it through. If you're making an
Right.
album," he continued on. He said, if you're making an album, if you're creating an album and the assignment is soul samples, everyone's coming with soul samples. It's not you trying to make a cohesive piece of music, and I don't think anybody was copying off anyone. The baby was the blueprint, and I think everyone should be prized for what he created. Um, and you can check that out on Twitter. Just Blaze and Jay-Z and Kanye talking about that specific Drink Champs diss.
Right. I think. Listen, like I said, I can't disagree with anything Kanye said on there.
I mean, yeah, I
I
mean,
can't, bro. I can't.
but
Listen,
Just Blaze, he did,
you
but I feel what Jay's saying too, though. Like
no, no,
the
right,
assignment was
right,
soul sample music. That's what we want. We want this to be like soul music sample heavy hip hop. Like that's what the assignment was. So great producers are gonna go out and make soul sampled hip hop, and it's not like it was Kanye's idea to do some soul samples and Just Blaze decided to copy that. That's the assignment. That was the job they both were given. So I feel
right.
Jay-Z on that. And Kanye is the way he is. I mean, let's keep it a buck. He's an interesting guy. I mean, like he to say the least. His ego is very interesting. I mean,
Right. But I mean, but it's true. I mean,
very
look, I can't say nothing bad about what he said about Just Blaze. I mean, he was on it. He even said Kim is still his wife. And he said that's still my wife, man. Like he was like, and I believe he still got love for her. But at the end of the day, like he said, we ain't together no more. We got to raise these kids, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it as peacefully with you as I can get it done, and that's just it. But as far as the production on, the blueprint was in everybody's mind. That was one of those albums where they thought it wasn't one of Jay's best works.
A lot of
They
people put
liked it.
Blueprint in his top 5 albums.
They
People
do.
love the Blueprint.
They do. But it ain't. It's probably like number 5, but it ain't.
They put
It
I've heard people put it as number 1. I've heard people put it as number 2. We had a
I
whole
couldn't
debate
put
with
it.
Fullblast
Yeah, I
Tribe. We
couldn't
had this
put it.
debate. They was putting
Yeah,
Blueprint
I
way
couldn't
up
put it as
top.
number 1. I couldn't
I
put it.
wouldn't. My
I
number
put
1
the
was
In My
Reasonable
Lifetimes.
Doubt.
I thought the In My Lifetimes was. I go Reasonable Doubt, In My Lifetimes, and then the Rock Family album. That I thought that was
The
the
Dynasty
tightest.
was great.
The
Yeah.
Dynasty was great, bro. Like I put it just because a lot of people don't like when you
I
talk
like The
about.
Gift and the Curse. I like the Blueprint too. I like all of that. But American Gangster is one of my favorite, period. And a lot of people
Right. A
sleep
lot
on
of people
American
they
Gangster.
sleep on that. Yeah, they rag on that album. You're right.
American Gangster was fire. And if Jay-Z lists his favorite albums, he said, I think he said it was Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, American Gangster, and then like he went from there. But those were his top 3 of his own work.
Right. Because even In My Lifetimes, a lot of people they don't like the In My Lifetime. A lot of people they be like, oh,
The
I
volumes
don't really.
like Sean Carter and all of those, the 3 albums after Reasonable Doubt, I call them the volumes because each one was was like volume 1, 2, and 3. I would take those 3 albums and I would take songs from each of the 3 and make one dope album and throw the rest away.
Dang, bro. That's rough, man. That's hard.
Now, it might be a double CD album, but it's gonna be one album out of them 3. It's not gonna be like 13 songs or no shit, but maybe like 20 songs, something like that, out of them 3. Because I don't know. I didn't feel they was hip hop. They were very flashy, dancey, shiny suit, puffy. You know what I mean? That's how those albums were. Some of them, the hit shit, but then the other shit was like In My Lifetime. You know what I mean? Some of them shits were classics. Like I love some of those songs. I mean, even Hard Knock Life. I mean, all of that shit was phenomenal.
Man, I liked it In My Lifetimes. I thought that was some of his better works after Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, I mean, some of
Yeah.
it is, but I think I could make one classic out of those 3 albums. One album that sits up there with because people like I said, they always go. It's always Reasonable, Blueprint, and AZ. We put those like pretty far down, but I think if you took them 3 and made one classic, I think that shit would be right up there. It'd be like Reasonable Doubt, then that. I mean, I think. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm taking them.
I
Yeah.
would love to see the songs that make the album. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yes. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna do that for sure.
Yeah, I would like to see.
That
Yeah, I would
has to
like to
go.
see. Yeah, I'd like to see the songs that make that album. Because like I said, I like them just the way they are. I don't need to. I can listen to them.
Right.
I thought they were some of his best works.
I was coming from a Wu-Tang era, a Wu-Tang type. I was coming from a vibe that Jay-Z was too poppy, you know, like pop music. He was too commercial. Jay-Z was very
Yeah,
commercial, very mainstream at that time, and I was very underground
underground.
or hip hop, right? So that's why I think, and maybe now if I go back, because my palate has matured, and I think now if I go back and listen to those, I like them, appreciate them a lot better. You know, just because at the time I was very snobby. You know what I mean? Like my shit had to be grimy. It had to be gritty underground hip hop. You know, no commercial shit. You know, everything had to be, you know, real.
Of course, that's
Yeah,
how it is for
that
me
was the
now.
era. That's how it was.
I'm just like that now, bro. You know, that's my thing now. I like it gritty. I like the grind. I like
See,
the you know I like the
now I'm more expanded. Now I listen to anything. Like now, literally anything. Like it's even some new shit I like. Some of the new quote unquote, you know, young the was Trippie Redd. I fuck with Trippie Redd, bro. Trippie Redd got bars. I never would have known if it wasn't for my son who's 17 putting me onto it, because I never would have gave it a chance.
Right.
Never. Because I
Man, I
just
give it
don't
all
like
a
a lot of
chance,
that
man.
mumble shit. But now I give it all a chance, man, and you come to find out it's some dope shit everywhere.
No, I give it. Listen, I give it all a chance, but it's just some stuff I can't. Man, I'll be like, look, you
It's
know,
just garbage. Look, if I don't
yeah,
like
this is garbage. Yeah,
Common said, if I don't like it, I don't like it. It don't mean that I'm hating. That's it.
right.
It don't
Yeah,
mean
right.
I'm not hating.
Cause,
I just don't like it.
you know, cause some of the music you gotta understand. Like I tell my son, I said, son, when you listen to the music, you know, like you gotta ask the question, how could you how could you always just be negative in your music all the time and
Always
not
talking
have
about
anything right, and nothing
emotional
and right, nothing positive.
depression.
Right,
Yeah.
nothing positive. Right. How could you talk about shooting people, but yet you walk around saying you love the community? You know what I mean?
And even in
How
our
could
time,
you
go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, how could you sit there and say, you know, oh, I love my community. I'm from the hood. I
Right,
love the hood. But yet you promoting violence,
right.
drugs, this, that, the other. You know, don't
Like the
just
drill
listen.
music and the Chief Keefs and all of that. Yeah.
Right. Don't just listen to this music and bob your head to the beat. Listen to the words
Listen to the
and
words.
hold these guys accountable for what they saying because they
Hold
need
them
to be held
accountable.
accountable for that. Right.
Thank
If this guy's sitting there saying, you know, I carry 4 guns on me at all times, I shoot you in the mouth, this, that, the other. All right, well, you ain't shot nobody in the mouth lately.
you. Right.
I mean, with the way you talking about it, I mean, I would think that
Come on.
there should be a lot of dead people.
Yeah,
You know,
dog. You
right?
should
The
be in
body count
prison.
should be pretty high, right? Yeah,
You would have been locked up.
right.
But
So don't, yeah,
but
don't.
like when in our time we talked about stuff that's negative, but we did it in a way like it was still, we was having fun. Now they talking about negative shit and they're really depressed about it. Like they're sad, they're crying on the records, and you know, and
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
hell of, and then it's either about drugs or heartbreak or my girlfriend left me, or please baby don't leave me, or these drugs got me so fucked up. Like the fuck. Like of course your shit is, you know what I mean? Like, of course it is bad. Like you gotta be, it ain't gotta be upbeat all the time. Everything gotta be a club banger. Like I said, we had, I mean, our music, look, come on. Our music was mad deep, like mad dramatic and depressing and but it wasn't depressing. Like it wasn't, it didn't give you a bad feeling. Like I'm telling you, some of this stuff now, some of these kids, like they be really depressed. Like they be really depressed. Like my son be
That's
telling me,
true.
like he in high school, like it's kids. He's like, it's kids that are really like, I be wondering, like they gonna murk
They're gonna make
themselves
it.
to take some kids with them
Right.
and come to the school with a gun and shit.
Yeah, bro.
That's the
Because
type of
listen,
shit.
yeah, and you got to remember
He
what
goes to an all
influenced.
black school. Like black students typically don't bring a gun to school and shoot up the school. That's a
No,
white kid thing. That's what white. How many school shootings have been a black kid?
not a lot.
I mean,
Not a lot.
the
We've had
ones
a
we
few here
see
and
in the
there.
news anyway. I'm
Not
sure
a
that
lot. Well, you know
if
what?
not,
That's another thing too. Like the writing was on the walls. Like in African American communities, we've been had metal detectors in our schools. You
right,
know, we've been searching everybody when they come in. It's
right,
just when you go to suburbs, they're not doing that. And then when something bad happens, they're so shocked and
yeah,
they're looking like, oh, how could this happen? Well, it always could happen. It's just that you weren't prepared for it to happen. Whereas in the
mm,
cities, they were prepared for that. They were like, look,
right,
one of these jokers might come in here with a
yeah.
gun, so let's just get ready, get the
Like
metal
we knew
detector.
we couldn't bring a gun because the metal detectors. Like we knew, like it wasn't. I
And
think,
it
yeah,
doesn't right, and it could just be a deterrent. Like you know what I mean? Because if it go
exactly,
off, you're like,
exactly.
oh man, this one off. Let me see what he got.
Hmm.
But at the same time, man, we don't. Like I said, it's everybody's got an opinion nowadays.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to be heard, which is cool. We want to hear you, but makes sense, man. Well, you know,
right, right,
don't just say it just to say it, or because you got an attitude, or you want it to be your way. No, it's just not like that, man.
exactly. Yo, Book of Boba Fett. Not to change. I mean, to change the subject, Book of Boba Fett introduced a fan favorite clone to live action. They got Fennec Shand. So I don't know if you watched the Bad
The
Batch or
Bad Batch.
the,
Oh yes, sir. Bad
Clone
Batch is great.
Wars.
Yeah, Bad
Right.
Batch is
Now,
great, man.
I'm trying to think who Fennec Shand was. Oh, that's the chick that's with. So the Book of Boba Fett is the story of a simple man making his way across the galaxy. He's one guy, as the title suggests, but it's clear that Boba Fett doesn't always work alone. After all, he teamed up with Din Djarin in The Mandalorian and now has Fennec Strand by his side. What's more, we see him teaming up with Jabba's old colleagues in the trailer for his own series. Like you saw the trailer, right? He's up there with the mob boss, like he's the mob boss, and they had like the long table with all the captains, all the gangsters. It's seen right out of any mob movie. And so that's where they're going with the Book of Boba Fett. It's going to be like a gangster Star Wars gangster thing, which is great because Jabba the Hutt. I always like they say the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt, right? In the movie,
Yeah,
I
yeah, they
always
do. Even in
wondered,
the comics, yeah, even in the
yeah, like
comics.
what's the gangster? Like I don't, we never saw him do no gangster shit. So it's like they're gonna give us that that gangster underworld stuff that we got a little taste of in Solo with the Crimson Dawn and all of that. But uh while Boba Fett may be a solitary creature, he's not afraid to collect his allies when they come in handy. This fan theory suggests he may come in contact with a hugely powerful character, one who may look a little similar. Spoilers for Star Wars: The Bad Batch ahead. So if you haven't seen it, warning: Boba may come across an older version of Omega during the Book of Boba Fett, according to theory advanced by Redditor Hobgoblin Hat. Omega, introduced in Star Wars: The Bad Batch, is basically the closest thing Boba has to his sister. She's an
That's true.
unaltered clone of Jango Fett without any alterated aging, just like Boba. While it's unclear just how old Omega is at the time of the Bad Batch, the Book of Boba Fett is set 30 years after the series. So if Omega would appear, she would have to be at least 40. What would her character have been doing all that time? Considering her progress after a short time with the Bad Batch, she could very well become a super soldier by such time as she'd appeared in the Book of Boba Fett, more than capable to hold her own alongside, her brother. However, there is one small problem with this theory. Omega is a clone. So if she were to appear in the Book of Boba Fett, she would have to, look like a middle-aged female Tamora Morrison, which might
Mm,
get a bit tricky to cast. However,
mm.
Omega has a different voice actor other than the other clones in the animated universe, so perhaps she could be played by another actor entirely in the live action. If bringing Omega into live action is out of the question, there is another way to make this meeting happen: bringing Boba Fett into the Bad Batch. A much younger Boba could appear in the Bad Batch season 2 and serve as big brother for Omega while simultaneously being little brother to the other clones in the batch. Have you thought about? I haven't even thought about Bad Batch having a second season.
It is. There's going to be one. I watched it. It was Bad Batch. Is good, bro. It's
I
really
haven't
good.
finished it yet. I haven't got to finish it.
Nah, it's good, bro. I watched it because they say Omega, and the reason why her name is Omega is because when they created Django, I mean Boba, Boba was the Alpha clone, but Django changed his name from Alpha to Boba, so his name is supposed to be Alpha, and she's Omega,
Right.
and they talk about that in the Bad Batch. So in the Bad Batch, they actually tell you that, and the clones figure it out that she's with. They figure out that there was another clone that her, but they're the source DNA for all the clones throughout the
Right.
whole and throughout the Clone War. And Omega was supposed to be an advanced one, and they also hint at the fact that she might be force sensitive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So she was actually an experiment. And when you go to the new Star Wars movies, how we had all these clones of Palpatine, that explains why he was able to create so many clones of himself.
Right.
And they were using that DNA as the base for Palpatine to clone himself.
Right.
Yeah. So it all fits. It all fits together. When you watch Bad Batch, when they explain it, they can explain it better than me. But when you watch it, you'll get it. You'll be like, okay, now I get it. I get why she's Omega, but she's very young in the Bad Batch. You're right. I don't know how
She's
old
the
she'll
little
be.
girl, right? She's the
Yeah, she's
little
the little
kid.
girl. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
young when she's with them.
Right. And that's
So
supposed to
I
be
don't know
30
how.
years, so she gonna have to be 40 or something like that.
Yeah, she'll be about. Yeah, she'll be about that. And like I said, Boba Fett. If Boba Fett's still alive in the Book of Fett, and even in the Mandalorian, then she has to be alive too because they were created at the same time.
Right.
So they have to be the same age, which means Boba's
Yeah.
about what,
Yeah.
40?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so
gotta
Boba would
be.
be about
Yeah, he's
40.
older
Yeah,
than that. Yeah. He's like
right.
50, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so she's
regardless
got
of
to be the
how
same age.
the theory comes to fruition, the fact that two different unaltered clones got their own Disney Plus series in the same year feels like too much of a coincidence to ignore. Whether it's through an all-out crossover or references to the other series, it's only a matter of time until Star Wars Fett clone universe is established in full. Definitely,
Wow,
bro.
that's
I'm
kind of
down.
taking it. That's kind
I
of taking
mean,
it kind of far, man.
down though, a Fett universe because there's a whole lot like Boba Fett was one of the is one of the most popular characters and barely really did anything in the movies, the original movies. Like he wasn't. It was just he was just so dope, so cool looking, and has such a cool vibe to him. But he really didn't do nothing in the Star Wars movies. For anybody that might be new, like Boba Fett has got his own show, but he really was.
Nah,
He's
it
just
was just
popular for being how cool he looked and acted, but he
an
had
actor.
no
Yeah,
role. Yeah, he had no role. Like there
he
was
had
nothing.
no role.
He
I
didn't do
think
shit.
I gotta look it up. I have it for next week's show. I think I remember watching an interview, and I think it was George Lucas or somebody. They were saying that when they created Boba Fett, he wasn't even supposed to be in the movie, and then when they did, he was just like you said, he was a background character. It
Right.
wasn't, but he was so immensely popular that they had to actually put him in and give him
Yeah.
lines because
Right.
they said, remember when Vader was talking to him in Empire? He was like, "Look, no disintegrations," and he was
Yeah.
just standing there. He was just standing there with his rifle, and
Or
they said that they said the toy was so popular that they had to. George Lucas, they just exploited the fact that it was that popular, and they did what they had to do. They put him in the movie, and he's always been, a big part of Star Wars after that with comics, toys. Now, a TV show. Man, listen, I'll take it. I'll take because we knew nothing about Boba Fett when he came out. We knew nothing.
yeah.
We just knew he
Yeah.
was a bounty hunter
He
and
was
he
so
worked for Jabba.
mysterious. Right.
Yeah.
Pure mysterious. That's part of what was cool about it, man. But yo, man, we would be remiss. We have to talk about the final episode of the Wu-Tang, an American Saga.
Let's do it.
that
Do
was
it.
that was Official. I'm so speaking of second seasons and all of that, talking about Bad Batch, season 2 of Wu-Tang was so crazy. uh they're talking about season 3 already, like it's in the bag, man. Like it's already in the bag. They're already working on it. Like Divine, like I was watching an interview with Divine. There's one of him on YouTube where he's getting he's in the barbershop, like at a private barber's just cutting his hair, and he's doing an interview with him. But so this last episode, it was the finale episode, crazy joint. One of the main things, like they're working on their video in the beginning. They're working on their new video, and they show them filming it and all of that. Like they show all that, and RZA's, they pay all this money and they put everything up, and they're ready to do this. They're so proud of this video, right? And then RZA goes in and he's telling Steve Rifkin, "All right, man, like the video's done. Let me get the money back now, like reimburse me," because that was the whole deal. He was supposed to reimburse him for all the money he put out for the video. So he said, let's do it. And Steve's like, "All right, well, look, I can give you your money back, or we could take that money and I can get y'all on Jack the Rapper." Now, you know about Jack the Rapper, right? You know what?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
this is it's a no-brainer for most people. Like not for most people. A lot of cats, especially coming from the hood and the lifestyle, the projects and all of that, would have been like, "Nah, I need that money." But RZA, forward thinker that he is, like Steve said, he said, "That's why you the Abbott." He's like, so RZA was like, "Nah, keep the video money, bro. Let's go to Jack the Rapper. Straight up, you keep that." So they're all hype, man. They're getting ready to do a show on Jack the Rapper. And so, but they get there, right? And they're not on the list. Like they're not on. No, they get bumped. They get bumped off the show because someone else was there and they wanted to perform, and so they bumped them off the show completely. So all that they went through, and all of that, like you see Steve Ripken, he's cussing dude out, and he's swinging and shit, and they carry him out the shit. And RZA's like, "The fuck," and so he finds out that, yeah, we got kicked off the show. Not kicked off, but we got bumped. So we're not performing. And of course the Wu was like, "Nah, B, nah, we did too much to get here and all of that." So what do they do? And the footage of this is on YouTube, guys. You can watch this, just like the scene before, just like the scene when when ODB came out and he was talking to the crowd before they came on at the Fever Club. That is torn right from reality, man. Like there's an actual video footage of that exact scene, and almost verbatim, like ODB, like the stuff he was saying, they damn near copied it. So this scene is actually is available too. What they did was they decided, like, we still going out there, fuck it, ski masks, not ski masks, stocking caps. They throw stockings on their face, and whoever was performing at the moment, they just bum rushed the stage. Like they just jacked it. They were like, they and it was cool in the show. They set it up like they was getting ready to do a heist. Like they're sitting around, it's like Ocean's 13 or something. Like they getting ready to do the heist. They getting ready. They throwing their masks on. They like, we about to, you know what I'm saying? And then and that's what they do. They bum rush the stage and get it popping.
But what what the show is trying to show you is that in real life, that actually catapulted their career. Because after they did that, their record sales went up. People was playing their stuff on the radio more. It was like, yo, who is these jokers? Because
the industry,
the industry, they actually made the industry pay attention to them when they did that.
Right.
Because back then, the bum rusher stage with like a well-known mainstream artist, like you bum rush the stage, and not only do you perform, but you perform well, and you turn the crowd out. I mean, come on, nobody looks down on that. All right,
for those who
everybody.
Don't know, Jack the Rapper is a meeting. It's a showcase where industry people are there. So the rappers come, right, and then all the industry people, producers, labels, A&Rs, all of that are there to see these new rappers do their showcase. So new MCs come out and they do their shows, and that was Wu's chance. And not only did they got bumped, but they bum rushed the show. So now they made a huge impact. And that was what was so powerful. And the way they came on with the ski masks, like no one did no shit like that. And it's 9 of them.
Nah, not like that. Yeah,
Bro,
it's 9 of them, and they all can rap.
they all can rap.
Yes,
Like Ice-T said, every last one of them motherfuckers can rap.
right.
And
Yeah,
they came out with ski mat with stockings on their face and did the show. Not on no, like that was their costume. Like they really was doing that. Like they really was jacking that stage like that. So that was dope of the Wu-Tang Clan. So they do that.
yeah. It
So
like I said, it catapulted their career. You know,
yeah,
it literally put them on top.
exactly.
And
You know
like
what I
they
mean?
said, like they always say, if you go back and listen to their albums, their interviews from back in the day, they tell you when they say they took the industry by storm, that was one example of it.
Yeah.
That
And when
was
they say
literally
they
one
changed
example.
the game, they really changed the game.
They
Like
changed the game when they
every
said they
rapper
came
say
in.
they changed.
Nah, not like Wu Tang. Wu Tang literally, and we were at a point too where they were just where like West Coast hip hop and gangster
Dominating.
rap was just that's all we heard. Like
Yeah,
the
Snoop
industry
and
was
Dre.
winning,
Snoop and Dre.
right?
Yeah.
Right. The industry was like, oh yeah, that's we just gonna push that,
Yep.
and you know people want to hear that gangster stuff. I mean, it was good for the West, but we were from the East, and we were like, yo, we want to hear.
I
You know,
mean,
we
yeah.
waiting for the next big thing. You couldn't
Like we
even get a
still
record deal
right. We still fuck
unless
with
you was doing that.
the West Coast shit, but you couldn't get a
Right.
record deal. It
You
was
couldn't get a record deal unless you sounded like Ice Cube or
Snoop,
Easy,
Dre.
Snoop, especially Snoop.
Yeah.
Snoop was hitting real hard then.
That flow
And if he
laid back.
wasn't,
That was the
yeah,
opposite
that,
of East Coast. So shout out Corey Adger in the building. Salute, brother.
yeah, Corey
Yeah.
Adger, what's up? Yeah, so and people that was around at that time, they know it. They'll be like, yeah, man, it was all we heard was you had Yo-Yo was popping at that time, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Casual,
Right.
Outkast. You had, and they were East Coast, but it was just mostly about that West Coast flow and that West Coast feeling. You had,
Right. Because even
you know, you had
Illmatic dropped at that
CPO.
time and it got nowhere. Like Illmatic was loved in the hip hop community, but
What did
sales
we
didn't even
ever?
do nothing. But we loved that
Nothing.
joint.
We loved it, bro. Yeah. And then Wu-Tang came, and it was like, huh? What? Like it was like an explosion, bro. Like of hip hop, and we just all gravitated towards it. And they were saying that at one point hip hop was dying out. I believe it because it
Right.
was because the industry did what it's doing now. It hurt hip hop, but with Wu
Exactly.
Tang, they refused to be a cookie cutter act. They
Right.
refused to go with what the industry said, you know. And Jizza, and when it was the one song Jizza says, you know, the industry something. I can't. It's on his Liquid Swords album.
Oh yeah,
I
the
can't.
labels.
Yeah, not labels. There's one. I think it's Fourth Chamber. I think it's on the Fourth Chamber.
Okay.
And he said, and then at the end he says, back in twos compressions, which
Yeah.
makes for his charge niggas 20
20 G's a
G's a
session.
session. Yeah,
Yeah.
the verse he said before that, that's he right. That's how they took. Like he said, the Wu came on. We took the industry. I don't know if you can get the lyrics up, but if you get the lyrics and you read just his lyrics, he was right. And they literally single handedly resurrected rap because rap music was just going down the drain. It was going down the tube.
Resurrected it.
It was bad. It
They
was getting bad.
resurrected it.
Yeah, it was so cookie cutter and
They
so bad,
RZA.
and nobody wanted to listen to rap. It's like it is
Up.
now. The industry is actually doing what they did
Yeah.
10 years ago.
It's what they've
They're
always
doing
done.
it now.
They always
Right.
done.
They're
They
doing it now.
promote,
Right.
they push. It's like Hollywood. They get that cookie cutter and then they want to just keep doing that same thing. Whatever worked the last time. And they'll tell rappers, we want you to sound like this cat or do your album like this guy's album because it was so successful and we feel like, and then they try to make people into other people. Diamond Onyx said rap isn't everything nowadays, but it is everything on hip hop and comics. That's what we talk about. But now you're right, Diamond. There's a lot of music, man. And but nowadays I think I don't know if what you're saying, but lyrics is not what they're about now. They're not about rap.
Nah.
They're about R&B to me, it's like R&B. Like to me, this new auto-tune quote unquote hip hop rap is very 90s R&B style to me. Like we used to call it M singing. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm singing.
or that's what Jizza called it, M singing.
Cause, but Reno, think about it. When we was back then, remember how they used to try to, it was like all about R&B, and then they try to merge rap and R&B. But that's how blends came out.
right.
But blends was a lot harder than the stuff we got from the studios. Like that was much harder because like
Mm.
when you would take a hardcore hip hop beat and then blend Mary J. Blige over it, and it was fat.
Right.
You was like,
Right.
yo, like that was
I
dope.
mean, Method Man, You're All I Need. That was a instant classic. I mean, a
Oh,
pop hit.
instant, bro.
A Grammy, like a Grammy, B. He got a Grammy. Like, come on.
I
Like that
like,
was insane.
but they wore it out on me though. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
they
I love,
played it to death.
yeah, they played it. That, yeah, I love when I first heard "All I Need." I thought that was dope, and then I heard it so much, I was like, man, I was like, all right, yeah, I was like, all right, I've
Neff
had enough
comes
of
up
this.
with the white eye. Yeah, that whole that shit. Yeah, I was like, man, this is what time it is right here, bro. This is what time it is. I
it was
couldn't get
it
enough
was
Wu-Tang
entertaining to
and
watch, bro. It
Wu-Tang. That
was,
was all. It was cinematic,
yeah,
like cinematic. Like this shit is cinematic.
cinematic, yeah, it
It's
was
cinematic.
entertaining to watch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we loved
And
it.
so and speaking of like labels and shit, so another thing that happens in the episode, you got ODB and Method Man about to get a Def Jam, about to get signed to Def Jam. Now, this is
Hmm.
Old Dirty's dream, right? This is his dream, his whole life. He wanted to be on Def Jam. That was his main, like that would be everything to him. And they was gonna give him the deal. But Arista, I think it was, offered him a deal that no, Loud. Was it Loud? I
It
don't
was.
know.
I think.
One of
I
them.
think he was on that. I'll tell
Raekwon got
you.
on Loud. I don't know who. I think Dirty. I think it was Arista,
I
but I
think.
don't
I
know.
think
But I
Dirty
know
was on
Ray was.
Arista.
I know Ray was Loud. But so they gave him they offered him the deal of pretty much the same thing Def Jam was offering, but also in 20 years he would own his masters. He would own his own music. Now, Meth didn't get that deal. Like no one else got that deal. Like that was an amazing fucking deal. You know how
That
hard it is to
was.
get your own masters to own your shit. Like for artists to get and own their own masters is very difficult. In a contract, it almost never happens. That's why everything is independent today. That's why rappers figured out like just to be indie because labels wasn't giving them their music, and until like they could have enough money to be able to buy it back and all that. But you got to be super popular. You got to be super successful rather to be able to make enough money off music to be able to buy your masters back from the label. But they offered
Yeah.
Dirty to give him his masters back in 20 years. Now,
He was on Loud. That was Loud.
Dirty, it was Loud.
Yeah,
Okay, so
he was
Dirty
Loud. He was on Loud Electra. Loud
Electra.
Electra.
That's what it was. It was
And
Electra.
he was on Loud Electra, Warner, and Rockefeller.
It was Electra. So Electra gave him the deal of we'll give you your own masters. And so RZA, knowing that, behind Dirty's back, said to Divine, he's like, because Divine was like, what we gonna do? And he was like, well, obviously it's got to be Electra. I mean, the dude's gonna have his own music in 20 years. And Divine was like, yo, Riz, like, Def Jam is Dirty's dream. Like, you gonna really take that from him? He's like, man, we know what's best for him. Like, just put him on Electra. Like, trust me. I mean, come on, it's a better deal. And he's like, I know, but it's Def Jam, bro. And he's like, listen, man, that's cool now, but we got to do what's right for the family. Like, it's my responsibility to take care of these guys, and I feel this is the best way to take care of them.
Yeah,
And it
because his
was
first
ill,
album was on Electra. His first album was on Electra
right?
in 1994.
And
Yeah.
Dirty. So then Dirty finds out. Dirty finds out that because Dirty was coming, he was saying something to RZA about how excited he was. He was so happy, his dream came true. He's about to be on Def Jam, and RZA this whole time is like, fuck, like, you know what I mean? He's so excited, and he has to break it to him. He's like, well, look, bro, you didn't get Def Jam, like you got Electra. Dirty was like, what the fuck? Like he bucked, he swung on RZA, knocked him down and shit. Cause RZA was like, man, are you stupid? Like, come on, B. This is, you know how hard it is to get your own masters. Like, he's like, man, I wanted to be on Def Jam my whole life. He's like, RZA was like, man, come on, dude, that's dumb. Like, it's not even, that don't even make sense. And Dirty stole on him.
And if Dirty was alive today, he would own the masters too. turning 36 Chambers right now because the album is it's over 20 years old. You know,
Exactly,
and that
man.
it is hard, bro, to get your own masters. Like,
Oh, it's unheard of. It never
I
happened
mean,
before.
like the most famous, I'll say the most famous person that actually went through that would have to be Sam Cooke. He literally, that's one of the things that he made sure he did, or that he made sure was like the forefront of his career, and
Yeah,
you know, like him owning his masters. Like he's like, look, like I need
yeah.
my masters. Like
That's
if
all
I
it's
can't
all
get my
about.
masters, right? If I don't own my masters, but he owned a lot of masters. He owned a lot of his masters to his music, you know, and the stuff he
Right.
didn't own, he bought. He said, I bought it back. And he said
And
they
it's
thought
like
they had it, but I bought it.
you can buy shit. Like Michael Jackson bought the Beatles masters.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Because the
He
Beatles
made a
was
lot of
hurting
money
for
off of
some
that.
money. They was hurting for some money, and Michael was like, "Here's $1 billion or whatever it was." He bought the Beatles music because they needed it.
Well, yeah.
Like
Well, you know, they needed it,
they
but
needed the
also
money.
he had asked Paul McCartney. And this is a true story. He asked Paul McCartney. He said, "What's the biggest mistake you ever made in your career?" Like, you know, because I'm gonna try not to make that mistake. Paul McCartney said, "I don't own my masters to
Yep.
any of the Beatles stuff." And
So
Mike
there
was
you
like,
go.
"Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." So Mike went and bought the masters to all their music, and people thought that it was like a snake move,
Nah,
but Mike
he
was
was
like,
yeah.
"Right." Mike was like, "Well, how is it a snake move when he didn't own it? So I went and
Right.
bought it." Right?
Right.
It's like so, it ain't like Paul McCartney ain't had money. He's just Mike. Mike just had more. Mike went and got it.
Well,
Mike
I
went and
I
got the
think
masters and kept.
no, I think what it was, I think Paul McCartney had his masters. He sold it to Michael because he needed money at the time, and I think what he said his biggest mistake was selling his masters to Michael.
No. The discussion was his biggest mistake was the Beatles stuff, like all the stuff
Yeah.
they did they didn't own the masters to that. They were young.
They sold it
He
though.
even
That's
said it.
why Michael bought it to help them out. So they had it. He bought it from them. He gave them money for it. That's why, because they was hurting for money at the time.
It could have been because you know.
Look it up. Look it up. In case
Yeah.
I'm wrong, look it up. But yeah, the Beatles, I'm telling you, they sold it. Michael bought it like to help them out with money and shit.
Yeah, Mike. But now Mike, I don't know if Mike owned his masters. Though. I don't know if Mike owned his masters.
Yeah, I think Mike owned his own masters. Yeah, I mean, think about it. He buying the Beatles shit. You know, he owned his shit, but it was part. No, it was part of Sony owned part of it though too. And Michael was trying to get his shit back from Sony, and I mean, a lot of people think that Sony. A lot of people had the conspiracy theory that Sony killed Michael because of what he was doing.
I believe that, bro. Yes, I believe
It
that,
ain't
bro.
like it's
I
not like
believe that, bro. I
not
believe
impossible.
that. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's true, but I'll say
It's not impossible. That's what I'll say.
it ain't impossible. Yeah, I could see some truth in it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. But so then on the show Master Killer's verse, we finally got to see Master Killer's verse.
All right, wait, before you go, here we go. It was sound financial advice that McCartney may have come to regret giving on August 14th, 1985, when Michael Jackson purchased publishing rights to the vast majority of the Beatles catalog for $47 million, outbidding Paul McCartney himself. That's what I said. Yeah, because I watched the interview where people thought that Mike snaked him, but Mike said no. Mike said I had asked him like, "Look, what's the biggest mistake you ever made?"
That's why
right.
people was
No,
like,
well,
fucked up.
but he did ask him. He said, "Look, what was the big?" He said, "I don't own my masters. Like I don't own it to the Beatles." Because you got to remember, he was with the Beatles, then he left, and he was a solo artist as Paul McCartney. So as Paul McCartney, he still had a prolific music career.
Right.
And Mike was like, "Well, you don't own your." He was like, "Nah," and Mike outbid him for them joints.
Yeah, outbid him. A
Got
lot
him.
of people thought that was fucked up, but I don't see it as
it was a smart move, and I don't. It was a smart move on Mike's part. Yeah,
exactly, bro. That was just smart business, bro. Anybody, you know what I mean? Like, I feel if any white dude would have bought that shit, they wouldn't have said shit about it.
I mean, it could have been like what's my man scores. Could have been like Scorsese, and he could have just bought the masters and put them in the vault.
There you go. You know what I mean? Like, and they wouldn't have said shit. But yeah. So okay. So Master Killer. only had one verse on 36 Chambers.
That's it. One.
You know, just the
It was
one
dope,
verse.
but it was the
It was
one verse, but it
dope.
was dope.
It was dope.
It was dope.
I mean, real dope. But in the show, they show him. He goes in and he does his verse like this. He's just kind of talking like this, and Riz is like, "Nah, bro, like you got to put some energy in it." Like he really had never rapped. Like he really had never recorded shit. That was the first shit
This is true
Master
that he recorded. This is true.
And so yeah, like it was dope. It was dope to see. I liked how they did that. Like how they showed how the RZA kind of coached him into, you know, doing, you know, getting that energy that he needed, you know what I mean? Like and like how to do it. Like that's part of what a producer does. Like a producer doesn't just make beats, like they create the song.
Yes.
You know? And right, so they create the song, not just they also they help the MC become who they are and
paint that picture.
How they spit, and paint that picture. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it was dope to see that. I like
Easy E's a perfect example. Couldn't rap, didn't rap. When he came out with his first album, Ice Cube wrote the whole album. Dr. Dre said it was just his voice. Like, you know, they were trying to figure out when they were doing it, it was like, hey, Easy, come over here, let me hear what you say. Easy was like, you know, I don't rap.
Yeah.
So they said, just say the line. So Easy said it.
Yeah.
Right. And Dre said he sounded dope. Dre was like, yo, he sound dope.
Like this voice.
They loved his voice. And then Dre said, look, he said the only way we could get him to do it, he said we had to turn the lights down. He put the shades on. And then he said we made him say it, you know, line for line. But he said when he got done and he heard it, he couldn't believe it was him. Like he was like, yo, that's me. It's like, yeah, like yo. And that's yeah, you're right. They painted a picture for him.
Yeah. And they punched this song. Like they punched his verses in. They punched like his rhymes. Like he would say one part of the rhyme. And then they would cut and he would say the other part of the rhyme and then they would cut. It's called punch in when they record. So and then they put them together. So it'd be like line, record, cut, line, record, cut, line, and then they put them together and play it like as if he said the whole verse. He never, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't say the whole verse.
Yeah, he didn't say the whole verse,
ODB right? They did the same shit with ODB on a lot of his shit on the first album. He would say a part of it. RZA would cut it. He would say the next part, RZA would cut it, and he would put them together and make it into a verse.
That's true.
Like one rhyme at a time.
Yeah.
You know? What's the song on 36 Chambers that Master Killer was on?
He was on I think not Protect Your Neck. He was on it's on the tip of my tongue. Hang on, I'll tell you 1 second. He was on I was just singing it.
It's
because he comes in real quick and then he leaves. It's like it's real quick.
I'm so fucking disappointed in myself right now.
Hang on.
I'm so disappointed in myself right now because I know it's just on the tip of my tongue. Is it Mystery of Chess Boxing?
I think it was. No, it wasn't. It
was it Cream?
No, he wasn't on Cream.
He wasn't.
He was Cream? On. Nah, Cream was Raekwon.
I know. Yeah, it was Ray and
Inspector Deck.
That was Deck. That was Deck.
Yeah. He was on The Mystery of Chess Boxing.
That's Mystery of Chess Boxing. So yeah.
Mystery of Chess Boxing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was like homicide's illegal and death is a penalty. What just justifies a homicide when he dies in his own iniquity?
Yeah, he came in real quick.
Traps are coming at you. We have an APB on an MC killer. Looks like the worst of a master. So that was the Master Killer. I mean,
right. He came in real quick. Like, he came in real. It was like it was dope the way they did it because like he came in and then he said his verse and then he popped out. It was like he popped in and popped out like and I like that, man. I always like the Mystery of Chess Boxing, and that beat is dope. The Mystery of Chess Boxing. Oh, yeah. That's one of the hotter beats on the album.
Yeah, that's a Come here, buddy. All right. Evidence indicates that his stature merciless like a terrorist, hard to capture. The flow changes like a chameleon. Plays like a friend and stabs you like a dagger. Yeah, man, that was a fire verse, man. I love that verse. Like, scream as it enters your bloodstream, erupts your brain from the pain these thoughts contain.
But the crazy part is, look how long it took for us to get an album from Master Killer after that.
Like 2004 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. He came out with, and we didn't hear it. I was like, man, I was like, yo, when he finally came out, I was like, okay. Because
Yeah.
he was on the second album. He was on all the albums after that. But he only had that one small verse on the first album.
Yeah, and it was a hell of a verse though. Like, I love that verse. Like, it was dope. Like, for that album, for that era, 1993, kids, that was a fire run. That was a fire run for that time. No question.
Man, listen.
But yeah,
when we first heard it,
2004. No said date. That was the
no
name
said
of the
date. Yep, I got every album he ever made.
Yep.
Yeah, I got all his albums.
Yeah,
No said date.
In Brooklyn, selling my soul, loyalty is royalty.
Loyalty is royalty. That was the last one he put out.
I think he's got, it might be some mixtapes and shit, but yeah, those are the main albums.
I'm trying to think if I don't have any mixtapes by him though. That's the only thing. I don't have no mixtapes by Master Killer. None.
Yeah.
I do have albums, but no mixtapes.
Yeah, I got all the albums. You know what though? Like, people talk about 1993 and all of that, but Wu-Tang really had their blow up. Like, 95 was really their year. Wu-Tang was really, oh yeah. Cause look, 95, everything dropped in 95. All the solos,
all the solo joints, yeah.
That's when they people really be like, oh, this is. And remember we was talking about the other day about
they dropped back to back too, Reno.
Right.
They dropped back to back.
Remember I said how, to me, the solo albums are Wu albums.
Yeah. Because I said I don't really count those Wu albums.
Yeah, and I think it was Jizza. That said they're all. He said no, it was Deck. Deck said he said all the Wu. I said all the solo albums are just Wu albums starring a different one of the members. Like, it might feature one member more, but it's still a Wu album. Like, everybody, it's still, you know what I mean? Like, so really our solos are just like Wu albums that feature one member more than the rest, or two members.
I could get, yeah. Cause you gotta think about it. They really wasn't on those albums solo. It was really there was a lot of features on those albums, and it was all Wu-Tang members. Yeah, everybody was on those albums. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, cause like when Ray and Ghost
on the Purple Tape.
Yeah, he was on Purple Tape. Purple Tape.
Yeah.
The Purple Tape should have just. Yeah, the Purple Tape should have just straight been another Wu album, bro. Cause it was just full of the whole thing. Ice Cream. People was going crazy over that song.
I mean, that's why it said featuring Tony Stark.
Ghostface, like, Tony Stark,
because it was so much them too. Like, it wasn't just a Raekwon album at all. You know, it's
it really wasn't
a Raekwon album, but it was not. It was a Wu album. You know what I mean? Like, Ray and Ghost did the majority of it, but yeah, everybody was on there, like, in some way. So, and all the albums be that way. Like, I don't know about Method Man's. I know Meth had Ray, Meth had Meth too. Like, everybody.
Meth had Ray on there. He had
ODB.
Who was the dude?
Had Sons of Man and shit. And
he had Sons of Man. He had Raekwon. He had Method Man.
Yeah.
He had 12 O'Clock. Yeah, he had a lot of people on his album.
His second album is my favorite.
Old Dirties?
Yeah, my favorite Dirty album.
My first one is my favorite. I like the second one, but the first one was my favorite.
The second one just got special meaning to me. I don't know. It was that was just a great time in my life. Like, I don't know, man. Just riding that album was phenomenal. That was just a good. That's how I think albums equate to me. They always line up with an era. or a time in my life, in my mind, like, you know what I mean? Like that's that. Oh yeah, his second album was a dope era.
Would you equate Inspector Deck's first album with what era? Like you had to put it into an era for yourself.
Let
His
me see.
first album, his very first.
Dex first. You mean
Uncontrolled substance.
uncontrolled substance, right? You mean
Mm.
okay, so tell you right now. I want to be sure. Oh shit. I see when it dropped exactly. The 20? Nah. When did that? Was it 2000?
It dropped like 2000, either 2000 or 99. It was either 99 or 2000 when it dropped.
I think it was 99.
One
Yeah,
or two is
okay.
90.
Nah, that's why I
It was
wanted to be
99.
okay. So that's why I want to be sure. Yes. Uncontrolled substance was that same era. Like it was like that. ODB's second album. I met my wife in 99. And those were like our joints. You know what I mean? Like we rode out, bro. Like we used to ride state to state, man. I mean, we had a amazing first couple of years. You know what I mean? And that was it. That was the era. It was 99, 2000, 2001, 2003. My son was born in 04. It was just a good time, man. That was just a great fucking time. So yeah,
Okay.
Uncontrolled is right up there. City High. Hey.
Now what about Outkast's first album?
That was just, man, that's my heart right there, man.
No, I asked because you always talk about that joint. So that's
That's
why
my
I'm asking.
joint.
You always
I
talk
got
about
the
that album.
vinyl right there. I got the vinyl record right there. And not even that. ATLians was phenomenal. Aquemini was
That was a
phenomenal.
big those two were big albums for them.
Mhm.
ATLians and Equimini. Yeah, a lot of people. I slept on those albums, I'm not gonna lie. For like
Yeah.
when they
I
first
never
came out, I didn't buy them when they first came out. I bought them like a few months later. And I just was listening to them one day. I was like, man, these is dope. I
because
was like,
when the first
wow.
album dropped, it was 94. So it was like that. It was like Wu-Tang and Outkast. That was just my shit. That's why Outkast is I hold it in such high regard because it 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 I guess you could say like battled Wu-Tang for space in my deck. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it was either Wu or Cass. You know what I mean? Like in 94. And that was and then ATLians dropped after they did see when Andre went to the Source Awards and all that shit happened with Suge Knight and Puffy Biggie and all of that. Nobody wasn't thinking about nobody else. But Andre 3000 made themselves known and all because they were like, man, we came here to show our shit off, and all y'all thinking about and talking about is them. And he's like, the South got something to say. That's all I got to say. And he walked off. And that shit was powerful, bro. Like in the South, we felt that shit. We was like, wow, like that shit. You know what I mean? He was like Outkast was like a fucking a savior. Like they were like the one group that made us feel like the world knew that it was spitters in the South. Like the world knows it's hip
Yeah,
hop down here. It's
yeah, that's
not
true.
booty shake. It's not all booty shake and Two Live Crew and all that. Like it's real hip hop down here. You know what I mean? Real. Corey Adger said, Reno, I agree with you 100%. Certain albums or a song that came out puts you right back in that era. I going all the way back to 84, 85. Yeah, man.
Whew. I'll take that. That's like LL Cool J's Radio,
Yeah, Run DMC and
UTFO,
all.
Shantae, Run DMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, those put me back in the era because I was young back then, man. But listening to them,
Yeah,
it was a
I
pleasure.
was real young.
Yeah, me too. But it was a pleasure
Beastie
listening to
Boys
them.
and all that. I mean, you were a little older
Beastie
than me
Boys.
though. You
Yeah.
at least you was old enough to kind of. I was like it shit is I was what 5 years old or something like that, 6 years old. But um, I had older cousins and shit that would bring me music and like gave me like I had a Cool Mo D tape. I remember when I was like 8 years old. Like I had Cool Mo D, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Fat Boys, like all of that. That was my shit. I had that shit as a little kid, man. Corey said, yes, yes, sir, Stu. Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro, man. Listen, Run DMC. When I first heard Run DMC, the first song I ever heard by them was Rockbox Beat. I thought that was dope. I was like, damn, this joint is dope. Then I heard Here We Go. Here We Go was the next song I heard by them, and then
and they had Tricky, they had Adidas,
that was later on. That's when they blew up. When Tricky and Adidas came out, they was huge. They was worldwide by then.
Yeah,
Walk This Way. Walk This Way is what really Walk This Way put them mainstream.
Yeah, that put them mainstream.
That pushed them over that pushed them over the top.
It did. That song don't get enough props. Like that song really put hip hop in the living rooms of suburban
everybody. Everybody. Yeah. It put everybody. It put everybody up on hip hop because Run DMC when they came out Walk This Way, we was like when we first heard it, we was like, man, what is this? Like hold up. And then next thing you know, you're like, okay. Yeah, like, okay. They did a song with Aerosmith because it was unheard of for a rapper to do a song with a rock star or some rockers. It's just nobody. And then Public Enemy did it. You know what I mean? Because it literally kicked the door for every, like you said, every rapper. Now people that didn't listen to rap was like, well, let me check it out.
Yeah, then Onyx started doing it. Onyx did it with what are they Biohazard or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was Biohazard. I never heard it, but I want to hear it though. I never heard it, but I want to, because I know when they did I know when they did who was it? What's his name? PE. They went hard. PE did they went Anthrax.
Anthrax.
They went hard. They went hard. Anthrax. They did the Bring the Noise. Remember they did Bring the Noise remix.
Yeah.
Cause everybody, like the rappers were covering the rocker songs. Anthrax. And when PE Anthrax, they did a reverse.
Yeah.
They covered Bring the Noise.
Right.
And it was huge, bro. That joint was
that's
huge.
what Run DMC. They copied the Aerosmith song.
Right.
Russell Simmons made them sing the lyrics that the lead singer Steven Tyler of Aerosmith was singing. Russell made them rap those lyrics. And I see an interview. They were like, we was like, Russell, what the fuck is this hillbilly gibberish? That's what they called it. They were like, we called it hillbilly gibberish. We hated it. We didn't want to do it. Like we hated it. But they did it, and Rush was right.
It was their biggest hit. Right, it's their biggest hit today. To this day. Right, to this day, it's their biggest, probably money maker that they ever hit.
Hell yeah, yeah, man. But yeah, it was back to the big finale. You know what I'm saying? In the Wu-Tang finale, I was sad to see it go, but they touched on the floods, which talking about Inspector Deck, he was to have the first solo.
So I never knew that.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Solo was supposed to be first, and they show in this episode, RZA's basement floods with, I'm talking about sewage, like turds floating around and all of that. He come down there in the basement. He's like sifting through shit, trying to find the floppy disks and all of that. But it was dope because they showed him writing the names of the floppy, like he wrote only built for Cuban links, and they showed him do that, and he put it, and then they would go back to another scene and they would cut back to him writing liquid swords and put it in the thing, to Cal and put it in the thing, Iron Man put it in the thing, right? All of that. And then the flood happened, and it showed all the floppy disks floating in the water, and he was trying to grab them and shit. And I guess they all were salvaged except for Deck's album. That was the big loss. Like that was the one that they said,
Well, they couldn't recover the information on. Deck said he still has it. Deck said he has the album. He said he has all of them, but he said, I watched the interview.
He can't listen to it though.
No, he said he can't. He said they don't. He said, I don't even know how we could even get the information off it.
Yeah.
But he said he kept it for that reason. Yeah, he said I kept it just maybe thinking one day we could get the stuff, we could get the music off.
Right.
But he said he has them.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I would rather hear that than that Martin Shkreli garbage, that Silver Rings garbage any day. Talk about a mysterious Wu album that it'd be Dex album all day. Like I have no interest in hearing that other shit, that Silver Ring shit.
Wow, bro,
No interest, B.
that's powerful, man. That's
No interest.
powerful, man.
None. It wasn't done by the RZA. The Wu members didn't know they were turning in verses for that album. So it wasn't like they got together like they do for their albums and said, we're going to make an album. And then they got together and collectively worked on it and made songs together and put together an album. That wasn't done. This is nothing. This is a compilation. It's a mixtape. It's a mixtape. Right. And even Silver Rings, that's how he got most of their verses, was he was calling them up and saying, let me get a verse for this mix I'm doing. I'm doing a mixtape. Let me get a song. That's how Silver Rings got their shit. He never told them it was for this album. They had no idea this album existed or was being made. So, and what I've heard of it, because we have heard some of it, they've played parts of it, is not impressive. So wow. I have no interest, man. I got no interest, man. Like, I'd rather see Dex album all day. So, respect the Dex.
All right, so wait a minute. So let's say you wake up tomorrow morning, it's a package on your doorstep. Amazon, you open it up, it's that album. Gets delivered to your house by accident.
All right.
What do? You gonna listen to it. You gonna listen to that album.
Oh, I'm gonna listen to the motherfucker. Hell yeah. I'm throw that shit in quick.
Gonna bootleg that out.
What I mean by look, if that really happened, bro, yeah, that's eBay, bro. I'm about to make $1 million.
Oh, you about to make $1 million?
About to make a few mil. Yeah, about to make a few mil
on that.
But
that's funny.
Nah, I would definitely want to hear it. But what I'm saying is I have no interest as far as like if it's that, or like if I got 2 packages on my doorstep and one was Inspector Dex and one was that, and it said you could only take one, I'm taking Dex. No question.
Yeah, I would too. Oh, I take Dex hands down.
And
hands down.
Thank you. And
I would love to hear Meph's original album. Because the album that we got was not the original work that they did for Meth on Tikal. That wasn't the original album. Meth even said it. He said my album was a lot darker, a lot more gritty.
Damn, darker and grittier than Tikal? Shit.
Yeah, bro. It was dark. It was gritty.
Tikal was dark, bro, and gritty.
He said they kind of lightened it up a little bit, but he did say that they had to rush and put it out. He said it wasn't like they did a bad job, but he said we rushed it. But he said the stuff we had, was way better.
See, Def Jam was never a Wu-Tang, man. To me, Def Jam didn't match Wu-Tang. There's a different kind of music.
No.
Def Jam
was trying to cash in. Me personally, Reno, I feel kind of offended. I feel offended because I feel that Def Jam should have signed the whole clan. To be honest with you, I feel that's how I feel. I feel they should have, like, everything with Wu-Tang should have went down with Def Jam. I really feel that.
But all they wanted was Meth, because Russell Simmons, all he wanted was Meth because he saw the star quality, the star power.
Right.
The LL.
Right. And I really think that had they put him on, like Russell Simmons, he claims that he only made, like, they asked him, what was the biggest mistake in your career? He claims it was not signing Nas. But I agree with that. But I also agree that had to put in there as a side note that not signing Wu-Tang, and let them put out their solo albums. Like, you know how big Def Jam would have been, or that would have been such a big move for them to put the whole clan on there, and then they all get to release their albums under the RZA.
I'm glad they didn't, because I like the way that the Wu-Tang is. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I like that they all had different labels. Like, that's dope to me. Like, that, first of all, it changed the game. Like, that was unheard of. But it made it more mysterious. Cause I was bro, I used to study like the albums and shit, like the inserts, the tapes, and I'd see all this like Geffen and Loud and all of that. And it's like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? Like, what, you know what I mean? I always, like, Jizza had Geffen and it was a G, and I always like, what is that? I didn't even know what the fuck Geffen was. I know who Geffen was. You know what I mean? I know who that dude was. I didn't know nothing about Geffen. But yeah, it was just cool, man. It was cool. It was everything about that shit.
Yeah, I used to read the inserts too. I used to love when they came with the lyrics. Like, if they had the inserts with the lyrics, I used to love that. Yeah, that was my joint.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite. That was the first thing I would do, in fact, was take the tape out and see was the lyrics in it.
Yep.
Like,
I used to do the same
that's
thing.
all I wanna is the lyrics in it. And when they weren't,
Oh,
I'd be so disappointed.
yeah, I'd be like, damn, bro.
Fuck.
Yeah, like when I opened Public Enemy's album and they had the lyrics in it, I think it was Fear of a Black Planet. That came
Yeah,
with the lyrics. I
yes.
was like, man. And it was printed out on like this, I don't know, like rice paper. You opened it up, you
Yeah.
was like, yo.
Yeah, like a scroll and shit. Yeah, kids,
Yeah.
we used to have actual like, our music came in a package. You know what I mean? Like, and then you could open that package and it had literature and it had substance and you could read about it and study it. And it was amazing. It made the music more deep. Like, kids today, man, they don't really care about music like we did. They don't.
Mm-mm,
It's not
mm-mm.
as passionate. They're not as passionate about it.
No,
They don't
there's
care.
nothing physical about it either. Like
No.
they don't get to touch anything. Like they would stream, like
Yeah,
they'd much rather stream or download it illegally from the internet than anything
right.
else. You'd be like, dang man. You'd be like, yo, you don't want to buy the album? Nah, I'm gonna just
Word.
stream it. Like, oh, okay.
Word. It's
Yeah,
garbage, man.
I'd rather own the albums. I'd be
Right.
like, man, I'm just gonna I'd rather own these joints. But
Right.
it is what it is.
It is
It's
what
new
it
era.
is. What are you gonna do?
New era. New
Exactly.
era.
It's a new era.
Yeah.
It's a new era. But
Yeah.
and speaking of new era, the way it kind of ended the show was you got to see them changing as people. Like, you saw their new attitudes because they were now successful artists, and like, you know what I mean? Like, they showed, like, I think it was Old Dirty doing his thing, like, and you could see, like, yo, he was out there like wilding out on cat, like doing shit that he wouldn't have done. Like, it showed them change as people, and it was dope, man. I like how they ended it. It sucks that it ended the way, but I really want to see. I hope the next album. I hope the next the next album. I hope the next season shows Ray and Ghost in Barbados making their album. It
Oh, making a
shows.
purple tape. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want to see. Let's see the solos. Like, they could go and they might go and just do Wu-Tang Forever, which I bomb atomically. Like, we need that out. We need that one too. We need
That's a
that.
big album for them, Reno.
That's a big season. But for me, that's
That's a
season
really
4.
big album for them. That's a really big album for them.
That whole album is season 4 to me. Because that album right there, that's my favorite of the Wu-Tang joints. Like, the Wu-Tang album, Forever, then 36. Then it goes from there. And I don't know, maybe
I'll probably
the
put
W,
the W.
the
Yeah, I'll put
W,
the W in there.
then like Iron Flag, and then like maybe 8 diagrams.
8 diagrams for me is last, no matter what. No matter how you look at it,
You don't like it?
it's last. No, it's not like it. It'll probably be last.
It's your
It
least
didn't
one?
have it. Yeah, it's my
least
least
one
favorite. It just
easily
didn't
is.
have it.
I think you're forgetting about It Better Tomorrow. Pure trash. Garbage. I'm gonna show it to you.
Yeah. I would. They would be my last two. I would put them as the last two. Better
This
Tomorrow,
album
8 diagrams.
garbage, B.
Yeah.
I was so
Eight
mad.
diagrams. Yeah,
I
8 diagrams,
bought this
because
shit.
that didn't even have a Wu-Tang sound to it, bro. It didn't even sound like them. It was just so commercial, man. Like, even
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino went on to say that he thought that Wu-Tang was falling off when he heard that album. His first reaction was like, "Look, it don't sound like them." That's what he said. He said it didn't have a Wu-Tang sound. Yeah, he said it didn't.
dug it.
8 diagrams. I would put 8 diagrams before that, but they would be my last two. It would be 8 diagrams, and then A Better Tomorrow. They would be my very last two.
Yeah, because that's all of them right there. I mean, unless you count all the side ones and all that. We're not counting all the Wu Gambinos and none of that. We're just talking about the official Wu-Tang Clan albums. Is 36
Yeah,
Chambers.
because if
Forever,
I had to go,
W, Iron Flag, 8
because Saga Continues. Yeah, Saga Continues was
Saga
tight.
Continues
That
is
joint
great.
was hot. That joint
that's
is
great.
hot.
I might throw that before 8 diagrams. Yeah, so my shit goes Forever, 36, W, Iron Flag, that one, Saga Continues, and then 8 diagrams, and then that trash right there.
See, mine kind of go in the order they came out, because I like 36.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like the double album, the W. Then I probably would go Saga Continues, Iron Flag, um, chamber music, and then I would go, 8 diagrams better tomorrow.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I know most people say 36 is the best one, but for me, it's gotta be forever. It's a double CD. You got so much phenomenal music
Yeah,
on
yeah, man. Yeah,
there.
you had mad music on
Triumph,
there.
It's Yours,
Yeah.
like Black Shampoo. Like, I mean, come on, it's full of. I mean, production wise, it's leagues above 36 Chambers. I mean, it's 36 Chambers is a short album. There's not it's but what's so great about 36 is it's just gritty. It's just raw. It's very basic. It's just you know what I mean? It's just gutter. It's just so
Nah, it's gutter. It's definitely gutter. Nah, nah, look, I can't.
look,
The
the
double album
double
to
album
me,
production
I love
wise,
it. Like, yeah,
but it's
production
gotta
wise, it's leagues ahead of 36
yeah,
Chambers.
yeah. I mean, no question. But I don't know. They're kind of like equal to me. It's not like I love the Forever and I hate 36. Nah. They're both equal to me, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'm gonna go with Forever.
So
Just because
if you had to pick between Iron Flag and the W,
I would have to
stuck on
listen
a
to them
desert
again
island,
before I can answer that.
stuck on a desert island. They say, Reno,
Yeah,
you're gonna be here
I
for a
don't know.
while. You only get one. We got two choices, but you only get one. The
I don't
W or
know.
Iron Flag. Which one's it gonna be?
I honestly don't know. I honestly would have to listen to them again before I could honestly answer that question. But I lean towards the W.
Okay.
But I think at one point Iron Flag, I was like I wasn't feeling it. And then I loved it, then I wasn't feeling it. And then I went back to it and I was like, wait, nah, yeah, it is dope. Like, damn, these tracks are ill. So like I was surprised at how many of them I ended up liking. Because sometimes you play shit out like Iron Man, like Ghostface Iron Man. I played that shit out so bad that I started to not even like it. Like I started to just be like, you know how you just overplay something and then you just like, man, I don't even want to hear that shit no more. It was like that. And then like Supreme Clientele came out, and that's to this day my favorite of all the albums.
Okay.
But RZA said the same thing too. I was like, oh word. Like he was like, yeah, out of all the albums I've produced, Supreme Clientele is my favorite.
Supreme Clientele was dope.
Yeah,
That was
a
like
classic. I mean,
that was very, and it had Glaciers of Ice, all that on. That was joint.
Places of Ice is on Purple Tape.
That's on purpose.
Supreme Clientele is the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that has
yeah, yeah.
one.
No. That's no,
De
no,
La
no. I
Ghost.
got it confused. I got it confused. You know what's on there that I like? Daytona 5000 or 500.
Daytona 500 is on Iron Man.
Is that on Iron Man? That's my favorite
Yeah,
one. That's
yeah.
that's my favorite Ghost
Iron Man
album
is a
out of
great.
all. That's my
That's what
favorite
I'm
one out of
saying. That's
all
what
of
I'm
them.
saying. Like I
Yeah,
went back
that's
to Iron
yeah.
Man recently, and I was like, "Yo, this was no wonder I played it out. Like this was the shit. Like I love it
Mhm.
now. Like
Yeah, Iron Man is
I
my
gave it a
favorite
break,
one.
and I went back to it, and I know why I played it the fuck out now."
Nah, Iron Man. I like Supreme Clientele, but if I had to put Ghost albums, like rank them from worst, from best or whatever,
Yeah,
Iron Man is my top choice, man. I could pop that in right now and listen to that, and it's just as dope to me now as it was the first time I heard it.
love
Every
Iron Man,
time
but
I hear it.
see, I also love Bulletproof Wallets, and then you got shit. You know what I mean? Like Pretty Tony and Fish Scale. I mean,
More fish.
yeah,
All
more
that,
fish.
man.
Like it's a lot of joints. And then Raekwon fucks me up with The Wild, bro. When The Wild came out, I was like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite Ray albums. Like now. Like The Wild.
It's
Go back and
wild.
listen to The Wild, B.
Yeah, I like the Wild. I thought the Wild was dope.
Amazing,
Because I,
bro.
I know a lot of people didn't like Mobilarity when it came out.
A lot of people didn't.
Yeah,
For me, it was
a lot
like
of
it
people.
was special to me. Like that's another one of them joints that was around the time of Uncontrolled Substance and Old Dirty second album and 99, 2000 in that era. Like, yeah, Mobilarity was deep to me, but I
Yeah, I can go
understand
with
why.
that.
I understand why people it's not their favorite.
Yeah, Mobilarity kind of grew on me. I bought it, I listened to it like maybe two
Yeah,
times, and I was like, it's all right, man. Then I put it on the shelf.
uh,
And one
it's
day I
like
just was like, I
okay,
said, yeah,
Mobilarity.
yeah. Then one day I listened to it, I was like, this joke was all right. Like, oh, this joke was kind of fly.
Right.
So, no, I get it. But a lot of people didn't like Mobilarity, bro.
Mhm.
They literally thought Mobilarity was like his worst album.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
literally
do.
thought
Like,
it
yeah,
was.
they really do. They rank that as his worst album. You know, but then, you know, he has great shit too. Lex, my
Next
I don't know.
Diamond,
Lex
Next
Diamond.
Diamond
I think
Story. Yeah,
my least one is Wu-Tang versus Shaolin. That's probably my least favorite Raid joint. And it's
yeah,
still great,
yeah,
but it's probably my least. Like,
yeah.
a
That's
couple of
probably
them
yeah,
tracks are just I don't even like at all.
yeah, yeah. It was. You know what it was? I think he had too many producers on the album,
Mm.
and it was just all over the place music
Yeah,
wise.
it was very
Whereas,
much all over the place. He did the whole shit with like Jim Jones, and it was like just it was crazy. He
yeah,
did
that
the
rock and
Nas
roll.
one. Yeah, right. And then but I mean, I still love rock and roll. I love that song. I love that
Yeah,
song. Yeah, I love that song. That song's
my
great.
favorite, my favorite song on there is Rich and Black with him and Nas.
Yes.
That's the joint. That's the hottest joint on the album.
Yellow like the hair of a Malibu surfer. I was like, Nas is bugging. Nas is bugging.
Yeah, that was
But
dope. The video
yeah,
is dope. It's just dope, man. They got a video
yeah,
for it. It's dope.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that beat is
All
hot.
right. All right, man. We did the damn thing, man. We thank everybody for hanging out with us. We are at 2 hours right now. We're gonna call it a night. I got people begging me to take them to the restaurant, so I gotta go. But it's been a pleasure, man. As always, Stu Dog. We have fun. And salute to everybody that kicked it with us, Diamond Onyx in the chat, Corey Adler. We appreciate you guys for chatting. You know, when you guys come, you guys are watching right now, say something in the chat. Always talk to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Always talk to us. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We thrive on that.
we
Yeah, we
love
thrive
that.
on interacting with the chat. Yeah,
We really would rather, I mean, we'd rather do more interaction with you guys. So talk to us so we can get at you.
yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. Peace. PEACE. Positive energy activates constant elevation.